I'm Isaac Morey. Welcome to another episode of Talk Commerce from Shoptalk Las Vegas. Today, we'll be hearing from Thomas Lichtwerch of Manhattan Associates. Here's that conversation now.
All right.
Alrighty, well, we're here live at Shoptalk Las Vegas. Could you kick things off by just sharing your name, your position, and your company?
Yeah, so my name is Thomas Lichtwerch. I'm the VP of point of sale on the global scale for Manhattan and Associates here. Yeah, excited to be at Shop Talk, 10th year in a row. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Well, for anyone who hasn't heard of Manhattan Associates yet, tell us a little bit about what it is that you guys do.
Yeah, so Manhattan has been around, for 35 plus years now. Very much well-known in the industry for supply chain, warehouse management. But over the last 6-7 years, have really gotten into point of sale, store transformation, and really unified commerce, right? With products like market-leading OMS and point of sale systems. And I lead up the point of sale group here as far as the go-to-market.
Yeah, and I know you guys have a new report out about unified commerce, and one of the big findings that stands out is a lot of brands have not really achieved what you would call unified commerce. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So it's a great report. We've done, the four straight years of doing it has really grown now to 400 retailers in three different regions like North America, EMEA and LATAM. So again, we had a third party group go out and do all kinds of secret shopper, 8 different experiences, whether it's online or in store, returns and purchases. And yeah, the findings are pretty surprising. I mean, really 2/3 of the retailers that out of the 400 are scoring in the lower or the second lowest bracket. So room for improvement.
Yeah, what does that mean in practical terms? If your brand falls into that 2/3, what?
I mean, I mean, in practical terms, I mean, there's net revenue dollars, right? If you move into the above category, we're seeing for every $1 billion of revenue you do, there's a $17 million incremental growth that you can see just by improving in these regions or these scores. And the overall customer experience, as we all know, I mean, consumers today are so much more. They expect so much more, right? They expect that everything about me, whether it's from online, from another store I shopped at, and what I've bought before. And you also don't have as much of, say, 5 or 10 years ago. There's so much loyalty to a brand, which certainly a lot of people have still, but there's so many options out there too. So it's getting very competitive. And if you don't get that good experience and someone else can provide that for you, you start seeing the loyalty waver a bit.
Yeah, would you say that that's been a trend in the industry broadly, like now versus 10 years ago, less customer loyalty?
I would say so. I mean, and I think the report shows that too. I mean, again, there's always going to be top brands that everyone prefers, but with social media, shopping on social media outlets now, and all these other things, so many new brands are being introduced, and the ease of clicking a button if you're scrolling on mobile versus maybe before having to go online on a desktop 10, 15 years ago in stores, right? It's really changed that paradigm.
Yeah. Okay, well, here's a question that I have to ask everyone. How is AI playing into all of this?
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, the last couple of years at NRF, it's just NRF with the big retail show and Shop Talk here, right? It's everyone is trying to figure it out. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone has figured it out completely, but AI, overall, obviously what AI can really help is data, right? You have a bunch of data and you can quickly access it. Whereas before you start looking, you have to go in and write queries and slow and meticulous, right? So if you put the blinders on from a unified commerce or point of sale kind of look at it, that you start looking at, well, I need to know everything about the person that's shopping here, right? Or I need to drive them into the store. I need to help them with a return, or if they have a issue with something that they bought in the past. So all these things need to be available like this, where AI can really try to do that. Then you can also start using it for shopping, right? For incentivizing someone to shop again, come in more regularly, or buy a product that just became available again online. So those are the areas where I see, again, from the store transformation area, but overall, overarching for retail as a whole, I mean, from supply chain, all the way through how order management and to satisfying and selling the product to the customer, AI will play a large role in that.
Yeah. So our audience here at Talk Commerce is a lot of smaller and medium-sized businesses, maybe who are just getting into utilizing the fullest potential of their data, or might be looking for new opportunities. Any advice or words of wisdom that you'd give to that audience specifically?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, obviously it's always hard to be, smaller or medium sized and having to kind of, climb that hill. But in some ways, you also have an advantage because some of the larger groups have a lot of, legacy systems out there, right? And they're kind of stuck, right? So it's hard to make those changes, which is why the UCB report will show that there's a lot of room for improvement, right? It's not just something that happens overnight. So if you're a more of that medium-sized, small-size retailer, there are ways that you can kind of say, okay, I've kind of gotten to this point now, but to really kind of take the leap with all the really cutting edge, technology that's out there, it's maybe not as big of a, rip and replace or open heart surgery as it would be for some of the larger ones, right?
Yeah. Well, I noticed one of the things in the report too was it highlighted how the Latin American market specifically has leapfrogged some technology and really gone into, for example, the heavy use of WhatsApp that streamlines communication.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. And again, if you look at the three geographies that we talked about, right? There's not one mold that says this is how you have to do it on the globally, right? Because the way WhatsApp is used in LATAM, the way there's a lot more GDPR in Europe and how the customers have to be engaged with, right? Versus North America was a bit more freedom, for instance, right? So again, the blueprint is not just one blueprint fits all. It's you got to look at it at those regional with the regional lens and really figure out what is the right approach, right?
Yeah. Any other, I guess, hot takes that you might have based on this report or based on your experience in recent years?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly, I mean, there are certainly a lot of brands that are doing a great job. And when you see in the report, some of the leaders that you've seen out there, right? I mean, they're not just doing well in one region. They have actually managed to really kind of spread that across the multiple regions we're talking about. Yeah. But again, I think it's, there are a lot of brands that probably feel like they're checking the boxes and doing a good job. However, when you start, I mean, again, this is completely third party. It's something. I mean, it's shoppers. It's people going out and doing what we all do on a regular basis, right? And if you start seeing, repeatedly that you're not scoring and you're not really getting up in at least a middle category or above category, you really got to start taking a look at, okay, sure, I have whether it's a point of sale system or whether it's an online system, e-commerce, supply, whatever it may be, that checks the box, but it might not have all the things that are needed to be able to be nimble and move quick. Because what's really happened, and again, AI is just going to absolutely blow that out of the water, but over the last 5 to 10 years with microservices and really kind of, technology being easier to go and connect with APIs and really kind of use the data. If you're not ready for that, you're going to be leapfrogged. And you can even standing still now, you're going to be leapfrogged. Even if you just say, hey, great, I've accomplished my 2-year program of replacing this large system. If you don't do anything else over the next few years and just kind of hold on, right?
Other people are going to move.
I mean, it's going quick, right? Yeah. And that's to the point, going back to the smaller and medium-sized ones, there's a huge opportunity out there, right? Because again, it's easier for them to make that move.
Cool. Well, as we wrap up, one thing I like to do is give people a chance to make kind of the elevator pitch.
Sure.
If someone's considering working with you guys, what is it that makes you special and sets you apart from the company?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So again, Manhattan and Associates, public company, over $1 billion in revenue, well known in supply chain warehouse management as the absolute global leader. So most companies would always involve us in that. What a lot of people don't know is really where my focus is point of sale, in-store transformation. We're maybe not the first, top of mind when it comes to looking at options. And we actually are, since I've come in here over the last year, we're actually going down market because it used to be Manhattan as a whole would service really kind of the tier ones up there, super tier ones, tier twos, and maybe not be the right fit for various reasons for kind of that mid-market. But that's changing. And again, we are very open for conversations with retailers that might only have, 20, 30 store locations, right? Instead of the hundreds and 1,000 locations, right? So yeah, would love the conversation. We can truly help you from, really from a, order warehouse all the way through, complete transaction in the store, return, whatever it may be, and be that, be that platform.
Great. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, great talking with you.